Hello and welcome, you beautiful soul, to another Culture Talks segment with your host, founder and curator of Cultured Society. My name is Rebecca Muñoz, and I am here with another incredible and special guest to discuss inspiring topics like multicultural diversity, business, manifestation, spirituality, creativity, and all things beautiful. Today, I am so excited to announce my special guest, who is Heidi Rojas, a powerful and a powerhouse songwriter, artist, proud first-gen Latina, and millennial mama of two toddlers based in Los Angeles. For a decade, Heidi, I apologize, lent her songwriting prowess to co-write hits with renowned artists like Little Mix, Cheryl Cole, Dove Cameron, Pitbull, and New Kids on the Block. And in a beautiful twist of fate, she recently decided to channel her creativity into crafting her own empowerment anthems and soothing lullabies, a testament a testament to the multifaceted journey of womanhood. Heidi has seamlessly blended her rich cultural heritage, musical talents, and the beauty and challenges of motherhood into a vibrant tapestry that resonates with women, moms, and Latinas worldwide. With over 25 million views on Instagram and 250,000 streams on Spotify in the past 6 months, Heidi's music has become a beacon of strength and relatability for her growing audience. Beyond her music career, Heidi wears many hats. As a songwriting and artist development coach, she guides aspiring singers-songwriters worldwide, helping them discover their voices and refine their crafts. In the coming years, Heidi has exciting ventures on the horizon. She's set to drop exclusive merch apparel, marrying her love for fashion and her advocacy for empowerment. Additionally, she will release her first bilingual children's book with Con Todo Press, which we are excited to read. Thank you so much, Heidi, for joining us today on this empowering conversation. We are so honored to have you on this platform today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes, so I recently had an opportunity to come across Heidi's music through the beautiful world of Instagram. And I remember the day that I came across her song, Madre Creator. I literally was just like struck by how incredible her sound was, how creative and just empowering. I literally danced my little heart out when I heard that song, and I immediately had to join her community because of how beautifully crafted her music is and just how inspiring she is on her newsfeed, sharing with her audience all of the beautiful experiences that she's had throughout her life to get to this point that she's at today. So, with that, Heidi, we don't want to keep you very long because I know that you have a very busy schedule, but I want to take the time to get to know a little bit more about you and what drives your love for music. So, with that, can you describe your musical style and how it has evolved throughout your career? And what influences and inspirations have shaped your unique sound?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for everything that you just said. So my unique sound is driven from the fact that I am a proud first generation Latina, daughter of immigrants from Guatemala, Nicaragua, and Cuba. And so I learned Spanish before anything else, and I speak Spanglish. My brain is in Spanglish. And so I wrote a lot of songs for other artists, and obviously in English because there are not very many, Spanglish artists, obviously. But in writing songs for myself, I just decided, you know what? If a word doesn't rhyme in one language, I'm gonna just say it in the other language. And so and also because I love reggaeton, I love la música latina. It's what we play all day. I get the Taylor Swift craze. I get with it, she's amazing, like she's amazing. But I can only get through one song before I need to listen to like Rosalia or J Balvin or somebody to just like get my body moving, right? So I was like, I really want to do I want to write songs that empower women, because like most of the music right now that comes out, I mean, you look at the Billboard charts and it's all a lot of young, they're young artists, and their perspective is more of from Gen Z, like a youthful, maybe they're struggling in relationships, or maybe there's a lot of songs in música latina that are like about cheating or about hooking. Like it's just I don't relate to that kind of stuff, and so I decided to write songs that empower me as a millennial woman, a mother, and just coming into my my confident self, kind of my I call it like slay era, or you call it whatever era, but era always feels like it's a thing, a phase that's going to go away, but really this is just who I am. And I wanted to empower myself through songs that I could play with my kids around and not feel like, oh, got to turn it down because there's a bad word coming or whatever. I can just, we can dance together, we can experience the music together. And then the step that I took to share it last year in February was my first single ever, called La Situación. I just shared it out of a place of, I don't know, delusion, vulnerability, I just was like, I just want to see if anybody resonates with what I'm doing. And decided to tell the music industry that I'd been a part of for so long, that I don't need him. I don't need it anymore. I'm just going to do my own thing. And I do believe there's a place for a 37-year-old woman who's, experiencing, exploring the world and getting to know herself, and all of the stories and things that come up for me, I write about. And it's been amazing how it has resonated, and it has connected with a really amazing community that I have now. So, um, yeah, the inspiration comes from my family, from my ancestors, from, just who I've always been, but I'm really learning more about.
That's beautiful. And I can resonate with you on that because coming from a Latin upbringing, having two languages that I had to maneuver through, and exploring music was one of the things that really helped me cope with a lot of the transitions that I was going through, especially because I am a creative as well. And so your music really resonates with me, especially La Situación. You had mentioned in your Instagram story that you were getting some negative feedback from the younger generation because of that song. And so you're going to always find people that don't resonate as well as do. So,
Mhm.
how do you maneuver through those challenges that come across when you are putting yourself out on platforms where everybody can see you?
Yeah, it's interesting. Because yes, so there's a video that got 1 million views yesterday. Um, and it's just been a few days of just really not very nice comments. I mean, some of them are cruel, but then some of them are just like Disney song, and I don't remember this song in Encanto. Lin-Manuel Miranda must have written this, and I'm just like, and I know that they're trying to make fun of me because they're all like LOL and sending it to their friends and everything. But I'm just over here like, ah! I'm so flattered because A, I could be their mother. And B, like Disney and Encanto made $256 million. I Googled it yesterday because I was like, how do these people think that they're insulting me? And and they're just having a blast, and I'm deleting I leave some of the creative funny ones because I really don't connect um with negative feedback. I'm not sharing this music to win people over. I'm sharing it to find people who like it just naturally resonates with. And so if it's not for you, I wish everyone had the maturity to just keep scrolling, but some people must just have to stop and share their opinion, and that's their right. And it's also my right to delete it. And so but I think there's a disconnect between Gen Z and millennials, and I think that it's worth having like I would love to just have like a really real conversation with somebody about um to kind of expose that, because I think that millennials crawled so that Gen Zs could walk. There's so much more diversity now. There's 1 in 3 kids growing up are multicultural or biracial, and I think that's beautiful, but it wasn't that way for us. I think there's significantly more representation in the media of Latinos and of people of color, and I think that's amazing, but that's not how it was for us. And so to it's very hard for a 17 to 25 or whatever the Gen Z age is. It's very hard for them to um, conceptualize a world where that could be the case. And so I just sound like a whiny old lady who is just kind of out of touch, right? And doesn't have the right to share her experience. And aside from that, there's a lot of people who just don't have the capacity to hold space for someone else's experience, which I can only imagine what they must be going through to not have space for that. And so I have a lot of compassion for that. And then also, um, there's a lot of people who quantify and like start to rate like what levels of racism or you're allowed to actually complain or complain, but like share about. And so it's like you should be grateful. You're, a lot of people call me white passing because I have lighter skin, and it's like, okay, I'm white passing to you, to a brown person, but to a white person, I am clearly not one of them, and I am clearly brown. I am clearly Latina, and so that's the la situación right there, right? Is that um, everybody has like a very distinct idea of, oh, it's funny in the comments. It says like, somebody will say, Rebecca, like, you're obviously gringa. And then the next comment will be like, you're clearly white. And they're just like arguing in the comments. And I'm like, this is la situación. So it's definitely it's interesting to observe. But ultimately I put the song out to connect with people like you, who that it resonates with, and who I don't have to explain myself. I can just be me and just say, hey, this is how I felt for a really long time, and I've decided to accept myself, to use this as a superpower, and not apologize or dim my light, or try to fit in, or make other people feel comfortable. I'm going to be my colorful, bicultural Latina Spanglish speaking self, and that's, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think everyone has the right to walk into a room and just be themselves and not have to chameleon accommodate others. And that's why I wrote the song, to just start the conversation.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I absolutely love that. And I'm so grateful to know that. And I've read about your experience with mental health and you taking the time to devote to internal healing. And with that dedicated time that you've taken to heal from within, I'm sure that it has transpired into that empowerment season of your life where, because you've done this work and you understand the lack of capacity that oftentimes we have as a society to accept people for their unique abilities and qualities, it really does give you an advantage over your situation, la situación, because you understand that majority of people in our society do not have that capacity to understand where you're coming from. So tell us a little bit about the song Magic Room and what inspired that particular hymn for
Oh,
you to, because I love that hymn. I
I
literally
love
even
you
sent
calling
it
it
to
a
someone.
hymn. I love that. It's cool because so the day was March 24th, and Madre Creator came out, and I went to a mommy and me class at my friend's house, and it was a bunch of my girlfriends, and we just we would get together every Friday. I don't think the kids even participated in the mommy in like the music group. It was more for us. And so my girlfriend, who hosts, she was like, Heidi's song Madre Creator just came out, Heidi, sing it. And so I sang it for my girlfriends, and the music teacher just started on the it was the djembe, and or maybe it was the cajon. Anyway, and my friends just grabbed their phones and started taking video. And so I like a few weeks later I posted that and then on TikTok and it started going viral. And then in September I posted it on Instagram and that has over 6 million views. I was so encouraged that day by the love and the support that I had just received from my girlfriends who grabbed there's like four mamas grabbing their phones and taking video of me just like freestyling my song Madre Creator. They all start singing along. It was just a really special moment, and I've not experienced that kind of like love and support and encouragement from friends that much. Growing up, I think it was a lot of my projected um, traumas and issues and insecurities that made it really hard to connect with me. So I'm not going to just blame other people. It's I've not shown up vulnerably and genuinely like as much as I have now. And so I've made the shifts. I think I've made the changes. I've also sought out friendships, women who just naturally their default setting is to empower and encourage and love. Um, and I don't think I was doing that either. I was seeking approval, and so I've made a lot of shifts. So that felt like that a really special moment. I was so encouraged, and I drove home. And my friend lives 5 minutes away, but my producer who did La Situación, he had sent me a track called Magic Room, and I had been holding on to that track because it was so special to me. But and I was like, magic room, what does a magic room mean? Like, what does that even, what is that? And then I was like, on my drive home from this amazing moment with my friends, I wrote magic room. It was like a 5 minute drive. It just came out. The bridge happened like, you want to write a book, start a podcast. That part happened because I missed my exit on the way to the recording studio to record Magic Room. And so I just started freestyling and was like, I'm not going to do a second verse. I'm just going to do a rap section, because Lauryn Hill is like my queen and my biggest influence musically. So I was just like, I want to rap here and tell everybody like, go get out there and do it. So that happened in like minutes trying to turn back around, to jump on Harvey from the 134. And so then that's how Magic Room came about. It was just a song. It was more of like a love song to my girlfriends, a love song to myself, to just saying um, like we got to believe in ourselves. We got to invest in ourselves. We got to put ourselves first. We got to, because we're the magic in the room, and nobody can take that away from us. And so yeah, that's where Magic Room came from. I'm so grateful for that little.
Oh, I love that. In fact, I follow your feed a lot just because I'm going through many transitions in my life. I'm 39 years old, don't have any children, and but I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of children and in people's homes. And so I really resonate so much with your lyrics because of the fact that it's almost as though you're taking yourself back to your childlike essence, especially now that you have toddlers and they're redirecting your focus so that you can be more present, right?
Oh
Because
yeah.
there's no greater present than to be present with your little babies, especially because they have this inner glow about them that allows them to live out their days in the most proactive and just magical ways. I
Mhm.
really resonate with children for that reason because they're so simple, they're so pure, they're just so innocent in their expression. And that to me is the most liberating way to live.
Yes.
And I feel like you exemplify that so much with your music. And I'm sure that through the work that you have done, because I also read that your first show at Coachella and the you had only performed like in front of 40 people before that, and then you threw yourselves to the wolves to be able to put yourself on a platform where you could be seen. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So the performing at Coachella was crazy because I had written a song in my back like guest room in our apartment in 2015 maybe. And and then a producer, a friend of mine came over and we kind of he started laying down some music to it, and he was like, I know this DJ, and his name's Sam Felt. And I was like, cool, let's send it to him. And Sam loved it, and was um he was kind enough to he really loved my vocal on it too, and so he was kind enough to keep me on there and feature me as the featured artist. So it was like Sam Felt featuring Heidi Rojas, Shadows of Love. And it's a song that's really close to my heart because my family had been going through a lot during that time. And so when he asked me, "Do you want to perform it at Coachella with me?" in the Sahara tent where like Madonna has performed, I was like, I mean, it was a no-brainer, but then later I was like, what have I gotten myself into? And so I remember being in the artist tent after the first performance. The adrenaline was so intense when I was up on stage that when I got off, I felt like I was going to pass out and like I just wanted to go to sleep. And that was a 2-minute performance. I don't know how these artists do like a full hour set, but I just got off stage, even on top of that, like 15,000 people who had no idea who I was. They were just like, yeah, like half of them probably didn't even notice me because I'm this like tiny speck on a huge stage, right? But I was just like, it was just so fun and amazing, and I got to share my song, and and so I just I just got off stage and I look at Casey and I was like, I don't think I'm so exhausted right now. I don't think I'm cut out for this. Like, I think this is my retirement performance. And he's like, well, you're going out on top. Like it doesn't get much better than Coachella, right? And I just remember that moment being like, wow, it was so fun to have been able to be the artist for a moment. Even and like better than being the artist, because artists can sometimes, they get scrutinized and oh, that wasn't good or that was whatever. Like no one knew who I was, so everyone just loved it, right? So it wasn't about me. It was like the most pure experience to just like share my song, like one song, and then get off stage. And so it was really amazing, and I never ever after that envisioned myself like putting myself out there as an artist. Because then I mean 2 years later I had my daughter, and I became a mother, and then I'm just like, well, the music industry tells women that they become less and less relevant, and um as they leave their 20s. And so here I am as I'm touching on 40, and I'm putting out music. It's just this funny, ironic uh, thing, but it's what my heart was calling me to do, and here I am.
I love that. And I've never performed in front of that many people, but I can imagine that it would take your energy to a whole new level once you actually do the thing, right? And it seems as though a lot of times people that have the creativity and the craft oftentimes hold themselves back because of that little measly fear, right? But when you take the opportunity to supersede any limitations that have been placed on us by society and we actually move forward anyway,
Mhm.
it's this liberation that you experience that you can't even put into words, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I went skydiving for my 30th birthday, and that's probably the only time that I felt a comparable rush of adrenaline. Um, so yeah, it's very intense, but it's pretty magical.
And so, how do you navigate the balance between staying true to your artistic vision and adapting to the changing trends and demands of the music industry, especially living in a city like Los Angeles?
Well, that's a great question, and it's really a very easy answer because I don't. I I don't follow trends. I don't follow I mean in any form of my life. Like I've never followed fashion trends. I've never followed um I try to stay away from fashion trends. I try to stay away from what's trending, even like words that people are saying, even, like I love the idea of the just being like this unique kind of um just gazelle like running over here on the side. And that has been my greatest insecurity my whole life, um, because it has isolated me. It has made me feel lonely. But now stepping into myself as a woman, as my identity as a woman, as a mother, as a Latina, as a wife, as an entrepreneur, as a jefa, every part of who I am. It's now my superpower. And so I don't care what the music industry says or is doing because I'm paving my own way. I'm trying to prove a concept that hasn't really been, I mean, it doesn't necessarily, from what I can see, I don't know a lot of or any artists in there who, like, any women in their late 30s who start to share music as artists, who decide I want to put out music, and then who are mothers, and then who are writing empowerment anthems and lullabies for families, because I really want not only to empower the woman to be the woman that she can, the mother that she can be, but I also want to give us resources and songs to share with our babies so that they can heal parts of uh, generational parts of our legacy that, that maybe, like, I was raised, by two immigrant parents who were taught one thing about feelings and how to share them. And I it's significantly more intimate of than what they were taught is what they taught me. But I want to teach an even more intimate version of my feelings, of how to share feelings. So I'm giving my kids resources to access their feelings and express them in more concise and just more effective ways. And so that's where I wrote this lullaby, the feeling song, that has over 7 million views and one video, 3 and 4 and the others. It's been incredible. And so, is there not, like, I don't know of any artists who are like, here's an empowerment song for the mama, here's a lullaby for the kid. Like, let's go stir stuff up. Let's empower, like, let's just heal together generationally. Just like, move the ship in a new direction because we have music that can help us. I mean, music is the best form of communication where I can most eloquently share my story. And I think that in 3 minutes you can get things, you can get messages, and you can heal in ways that it takes years of therapy. I believe music can do that in such a short period of time. And so that's just, it's ultimately, I decided to put music out as a um as an exercise of vulnerability, to show all of the healing that I've done, put myself out there. Then it was about, like, putting it out there for my kids so that they can Google me someday and find my music. It was just to leave a legacy for them. Then it was, once it started resonating with people, it was just like, okay, I think I'm going to do this. I also want to share this to try to see if I can build a community that we just empower each other. We help each other. We encourage each other. Um, and so I just don't think that anybody can really. I think it just comes from inside of my heart. As long as I feel that calling in my soul, I'll just keep doing it, and I'll go wherever the songs take me. And some of the songs are taking me to, to conversations like this with you. Some, other, like, podcasts and keynote speaking and panels and discussions that are really hopefully going to make waves and allow for people to really unpack and think about things in new ways. And I've gotten so many messages from people who've said that the feeling song, it's really just a song about like, how, if you're sad or afraid, or if you're angry, or if you're just whatever feeling you have, there's different ways that you can express it. You could talk about it, you could hug about it, you could breathe about it, you could sing about it. There's other ones people have sent me, like, my son loves to sing, you let's dance about it, let's draw about it, let's all the other ones, and they've messaged me telling me that the song has become a part of their family, that it's the bedtime song now. And it's such an honor, because if a child can um, learn how to access and express their feelings in such healthy ways at such a young age, I think it can change the trajectory of who they become. It can change, they can become these really well self-regulated people who express their feelings, um, with respect and love, as opposed to a lot of people in power right now in our country and all over the world, just everywhere. You see a lot of like really rash, just reactionary choices. And I think we can change the world if we really um, help our kiddos to dial it all in from their body, right? And then bring it out in ways that are healthy and loving. And so, all of that to say, I really, I'm just kind of doing my own thing. And so I'm, I'm, I'm doing it all on my own and figuring it out as I go. And it's pretty liberating to um, to, not need to kind of cater to what the music industry or anyone else says is the right way to do anything or is trending. And um, it's super fun that way.
It is so fun that way. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I really appreciate your authenticity and vulnerability and transparency when it comes to your process and how your days unfold, and allowing people to see that it doesn't have to be perfection every single day. And that when you are living in your divine truth and when you are on your specific blueprint, right? Because every single one of us on this planet has a specific DNA code. We were brought to this earth to live life in our own way that God has created us to live. We all, I like to say that whenever, if ever you were to see people side by side split in half, you would see that our components are very similar, but our cellular structure and our DNA is specific to you, to me. So we're not supposed to operate the same. And we all have a very specific message that we were brought to share to this planet. And so it wouldn't be a fun world if everybody else was doing what you were doing and trying to be validated by everyone else, because it wouldn't be authentic. So I really appreciate that you are operating in that way and that you are also bringing in our younger generation, because you're right. We are living in such a dysregulated society where it's unfortunate that we have not been given or shown the tools, the necessary and practical tools that we need to adapt to the consistent changes that are going on second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, right? And
Mhm.
so we need more women like yourself that are sharing that gift, and that are sharing that gift specifically from the heart, especially from experiences that you're having
Yeah.
along your journey. It helps people really look at things from a very different perspective, and it inspires people to operate in in their truth as well.
Thank you. That means a lot. And any way that I can contribute to that movement, I'm here for that.
Absolutely. Well, I know that you have a very short amount of time. So, one last question before we get moving on through our days. What advice would you give to emerging artists who are finding their own artistic voice, especially in the time that we're living in today?
Yes, that's a great question. I think that it's an interesting time that we're living right now because firstly, there are no gatekeepers anymore. The music industry, radio, there were so many different gatekeepers that you had to kind of move through and impress and prove to them that you were talented enough and hardworking enough and all that. And now it's really just direct to consumer. It's just you can, you know, grab your phone and put yourself up on the, just put it up on a candle or whatever you want to stick it on top onto, and then make videos and share them on social media. And so it's a really amazing time because 10, not even just like 10 years ago, if I wanted to be an artist and share my music, I would have had to go do like the like the club circuit in LA, I would be trying to find out who books for the Roxy and the, and these and venues. And then I would go and play at the venue, and then I would stay after and try to meet people and get their email addresses so that I could send them music or sell my CD. And I can't do that. I wouldn't be able to do that as a mom of two toddlers. My kids are in school right now. I got to go pick them up at 2. And then tonight I can't go out to try to find out like, oh, who do I need to know and who do I need to get pro- it just wouldn't have worked. And um so there's really just complete and utter like red carpet access to the community of people who are going to resonate with what you're doing as an artist. And so there's really no reason not to just put yourself out there. I think that but I will say that as far as advice, it's like really like um, if I had started at 35 instead of 36, it wouldn't have gone well because I wasn't ready emotionally to withstand the level of exposure that the like there's a lot of mean people out there. And so there's for every positive comment there might be a negative comment, or for every 5 positive comments there might be a negative comment. I mean, I go weeks sometimes without hearing anybody criticize anything. And it's nice, but it's also they come and there's people who say mean things, and you got to be prepared for that. You got to be ready, because I've seen a lot of really amazing and talented friends um, focus on the one mean comment. And so there's 5 or 10 beautiful comments about how this music is so well received, but it's that one comment that says like you looked this way or you didn't sound this way or I don't like that song or whatever, that just people hold on to. And you got to have really thick skin. You got to really have done or do be doing the work to really kind of like what it says in Madre Creator. It's like, I don't need you to be my validator, right? Like truly like get your validation um, from inside of you. Because then nobody can penetrate through the tough, like the hard, just the exterior of a really um, impenetrable confidence, And so that I would say is really important, because those mean people they're what do they call them, trolls. They're gonna troll. And they're usually people who are just not brave enough to do what we're doing, and so they want to stop you because it makes them feel better about not doing what they feel called to do. And so we just can't let them get to us. And so yeah, I think those are the main things. Is as an artist, like find your perspective, your view on the world is unique and special, and your experiences are what made you you. So find just explore like what is your voice, like what do who is your audience and what do you want to say to them, and get just really lock into as authentic as of a connection as you can. Then and it's going to resonate. It's going to you will find a community of people. Um, and uh, and so it kind of all depends on how vulnerable, how real, how authentic can you get down to just like the who you really are, because people really um, connect with authenticity and with true vulnerability. And so um, yeah, that's what I tell everyone who wants to do anything. It's like just connect with your most authentic self. Like who is that? Take all the good experiences, all the bad experiences. They've all are part of the tapestry that makes like you who you are. And the world needs you, just like in Magic Room. The good in your soul is what we need, and it needs a place to go. So like do whatever greatness you feel in your heart, and it's gonna like impact the world in a positive way, and good things will come to you because you're attracting them through your goodness. And it's just, yeah, it's worth it.
So good, so good. I am so grateful that you said yes to your craft and that you had the courage and the fearlessness, even when fear was a little present in your energetic space, that you just decided to say, screw it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway because people need the message that I have to offer this world. And we need you. We need you, the person that is watching today. We need you to step out into your courage and into your bliss and into your divine purpose because there is so much more room for you than you ever imagined. We live in a world where we are inundated with copycats, and we need more people that are uniquely designed and ready to step out into their power. So, Heidi, tell our audience today how they can connect with you, where they can find your music, and any last words of wisdom that you would like to share.
Yes, you can connect with me on Heidi Rojas Music. It's just HeidiRojas Music on all social media platforms. And yeah, just it's an everyday process. You don't just wake up and arrive where you want to be. It's just an everyday, um, just checking in and really having grace and being kind to ourselves is the most important thing that we can do in our day. And then that emanates, is that the word? Kindness,
Many.
goodness, right? In the world, and then it becomes what we attract too. So just be kind to yourself. And thank you for checking out my music. So much more to come, and I'm just so excited, and I'm grateful to have spent this time with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone that is going to join this conversation today. May this conversation inspire you, uplift you, and give you that desire to step into your divine purpose because we need you more than ever before. We are so grateful that you are here today. I am Rebecca Muñoz, your founder, curator, and host for Cultured Society. And thank you again for joining us. Many blessings to you.